Sorry about that. George, I think you mentioned that you had a question.
I do have a question. In the case that came to you, there was Martha was asking for $3,000 in damages. If we make this agreement, does that $3,000 go away, or is that still what happens under those circumstances?
Martha, in the agreement that we've reached, we didn't mention further monetary damages. Is that something that you'd like to address with George?
Well, George, I picked that because that was the least, the most amount that the clerk said I could sue for, that I could hope to claim as damages in this particular forum. And I really would have asked for more than that because my prize rose bushes were worth a good deal more than that, personally to me, as well as they have, as I mentioned, won many prizes. I did not think that that was too much of a thing to ask.
So when our agreement is established, though, that wasn't part of the settlement. So what happens to the monetary portion of this suit?
Sure. Well, Martha, before we can memorialize this agreement, that's clearly something we need to
Okay.
straighten up.
Okay.
Is that the damage is still something that you're looking for? Is that a part of this? I did not realize from our initial conversation.
I know, you're right. You're right. I didn't really mention it. And it possibly because I really wanted what you gave me. I really wanted the time together. I do mourn the rose bushes, but there's no point in I can't get them back. But I do ask, I would ask this. It may seem a small thing, but it cost me a lot to enter all the different things that I enter in those prizes when I try to win. And now that with my husband gone, I just can't afford the entry fees. So I don't know, is there something that can be done about that? Would you help me with that?
Well, I don't know what kind of money we're talking about or how many entries you were having and what the cost is. I would have no idea. I don't really feel comfortable with something you're doing for yourself. So, maybe if we had put a limit on them of maybe a couple $100, I would help Martha with that. But I don't feel comfortable having a blank check to pass to you.
And what does that mean to you, George? A couple $100,
Well, for entry fees or whatever she would like to do. I mean, I would help her out however I can because I'm trying to be, gracious about it. But I just don't want to be forever placing entries for Martha, not knowing what my costs. I live in a modest home, and at this point I'm not making a lot of money, so I need to be careful of
Oh,
what
George, I had no idea. I had no idea.
So, if
No, I can see that. Thank you. I can see that. I didn't realize that times were difficult, and I love you far too much to ask for that. But if you could help me just this year, I only have a couple of shows.
okay. So were we talking a couple $100, or how much would we?
Now it's going to be a little more than that, but maybe 500. Could you manage 500?
I suppose I can already put $1,000 in this fence, and I have more to spend on it in the landscaping. But sure, I think I can probably do $500.
So, George, if you do spend this $500, how does that impact you financially?
Well, of course, that's a considerable amount of money, and I may have to postpone some of my landscaping until the following year, which may not give as many clients to me. But if it would make Martha feel good, I would be happy to do that.
I'm hearing you say that you could do it, but it might mean postponing other things. Is that meet your interests? Does that meet your needs?
Well, I want to be a good neighbor, and her husband was a good friend of mine, so of course I want to do as much as I can for her. So I would be willing to do that.
And Martha, how do you feel about that?
I had no idea. Like I said, I love him like a son. I had no idea. I guess I've already gotten what I really needed, was just to know that he cared. And I'm very touched by that. I don't want any hardship to befall you. I really never did. I never did, George.
Thank you.
And perhaps you could just help me with my roses.
Sure.
And just the cost of the rose bushes alone. I want to see you prosper. That's important to me. He's been a good neighbor up till now. He really has. And a good friend.
So, if I'm hearing you right, Martha, you're saying, maybe not worry about the entry fees right now.
Yes, sir,
Instead, provide the rose bushes,
yes.
and pick those out and
Go
plant
with
them
me,
ready.
yes, to that, yes, thank you.
And George, does this
Yes,
work for you?
Yeah, that would work for me.
Okay, great. Well then, with that in mind, I'll continue to write the agreement.
Okay.
And at the end, we'll review it again together, just to make sure that we're
Sure.
that we're all on the
That's
same.
fine,
Okay, thank you.
thank you. Oh, George, I just love, I really